So let's hope that Desmond Ridder is right when he talks about what this offense could be. So he was on Good Morning Football yesterday, I guess it was, and had some things to say. Here's him talking about his offense and obviously the parts and pieces that he has in this offense. Quote, as an offense, you look for explosive plays and you get them any way you can, whether that's to Drake, whether that's to Kyle, a guy like Jonnu, Mac Hollins, it doesn't matter. But then when you can hand the ball off and just give it to a guy like Tyler Algier or Bijan or CP and let them go, it just makes my job a lot easier. So when they drafted Bijan, I just knew that this offense has something. I just knew that this offense has something to be explosive. We're able to go out there, and whether it's the run game, pass game, play action, doesn't matter. We think that we're going to be pretty explosive. And look, that's what we hope for, right? I've talked about on the show before. If we can get at least to 26 points per game, I think the two keys, we can get to 26 points a game, and a lot of that is going to be being elite in the red zone, whether it's running the football, passing the football, whatever. You know, you've got Drake, you've got Kyle, you've got Bijan, you got CP, you got Algier, you got Jonnu Smith. You got all these different weapons that are available to you, and especially down deep. Some of these guys should be mismatches for the Atlanta Falcons. And again, if we can't be an elite red zone offense where we're averaging basically 67% of our possessions are going to be touchdowns when we get in the red zone, you know, the offense has got to be at that level. And we've invested way too much personnel into our offense to not be like this, right? I mean, we have all kinds of first-round draft picks on our offensive line. We've obviously got high-caliber draft capital in skill position people over the last 3 years that this regime has drafted specifically. So if we can't get it done in the red zone and we can't average at least 26 points a game, where's all that going to come from? Where's that explosiveness going to come from? You know, again, I don't care what you do between the 20s. Show me that you can get in the red zone and score as many touchdowns as humanly possible. Now, Desmond also went on to say, however that comes, we just want to be explosive. Whether it's in the run game, the pass game, whatever it may be, obviously this is a game where you get to put points up on the board, and that's something that we want to do as an offense, all the while taking care of the ball, controlling the game, doing just what you have to do to go out there and win. So from the Falcons offense, we can just go out there, just play our hardest and be explosive. Well, look, obviously the idea is that Desmond Ridder, I think, number one, is not going to be a turnover machine the way that Marcus Mariota was. You know, he was certainly a guy who you felt like at any moment could either put the ball on the carpet or throw the ball up for grabs, and he would create a turnover. And then he'd take a sack along with it. Even though he didn't have necessarily a huge amount of sacks, and they didn't pass the ball and drop back and pass very often, his sack percentage, Marcus Mariota, that is, was really high last year. I mean, somewhere between 10 and 12% of his dropbacks resulted in a sack. Now, hopefully Ridder can clean some of that up. Hopefully he can clean up some of the mistakes that Marcus Mariota did. And I do think that one of the things about Desmond Ridder is that he's a heady, smart quarterback that's not going to put the ball in danger. When you've got that many weapons, you shouldn't have to put the ball in danger. And so, do I want to see them be explosive? Yeah. Do I think that they're going to be Matt Ryan-esque in 2016? No, I don't think that. I mean, I don't think one is they have the trigger man for all of that, but I don't see them being that kind of prolific offense. But again, if we can be a really, really good offense, and I'm talking about a top 5 offense in the red zone, and get ourselves to where we're 67% touchdowns. 2/3 of our possessions need to be touchdowns in the red zone. That's where I'm going to really watch what Arthur Smith does with the play calling, with the personnel that he has. I want to see everybody in personnel groups when we get down deep. I don't want to see Kyle Pitts off the field. I don't want to see Drake London off the field. I don't want to see Jonnu Smith. I don't want to see anybody coming off the field. Even Even Patterson or Bijan need to split out wide or go in the slot or whatever they have to do. But I need all of my weapons on the field all the time when we get down in the red zone. There's no reason why, with this offensive group of personnel, that we should struggle in the red zone. In the last 2 years, we were 14th last year. We were 24th the year before that in Arthur's first year. Well, now we've got all this high draft capital that we've invested in. We need to be that way. So I'm not even so much worried about explosive plays. Again, explosive plays, I think is 20-yard plays or more or whatever. I guess that's the technical definition for explosive plays in the NFL. What I want us to be, I want us to be an elite red zone offense. I know we can move it through the 20s. I know we can get there. But when we get down deep, we have to find a way to score touchdowns. And obviously, we can score as many touchdowns as possible. We'll win a lot of games. Duh. And we'll obviously being a position where if our defense can play ahead, now you can tee off on quarterbacks. That was the thing about the 2016 defense. 2016 defense wasn't all that great. But when you had big leads and you got way out front on people, you could just pin your ears back and go after the quarterback. You could turn Vic Beasley loose and go after the quarterback. You didn't have to worry about him, well, is he going to set the edge or stop the run or this or that? No, you just let him go out there and play football and just pin his ears back and go after everybody because our offense accumulated a big lead. So while I don't think that the Falcons are going to be this 30-point per game offense, and I'm not worried about explosive plays and big chunk plays and all these different kinds of things, just help me be elite in the red zone, be an elite red zone team, 67%, score me 26 points a game, and everything else will fall into place. Everything else will get figured out from there, and they'll take care of it. And offensively, if you can get 26 points a game where you're up in that upper tier of really good offenses, and you can be 67% or above where you're an elite level red zone offense, everything will be fine. Desmond Ridder will be fine at that point. And I don't think he's going to be the turnover machine that Marcus Mariota was. So let's hope that he's right. Let's hope that we get the explosive plays, but let's hope that we're really good as far as being in the red zone. All right, as you make Hittin' Hard with Jon Chuckery your first listen, be sure to go in and whatever podcast platform that you're listening on, go into the comments section and leave us a note that you're an everyday listener. So we like to call them our everydayers. So we thank you so much for being a part of our ever-growing community as we're basically almost a little over a year now into this. We thank you so much for being a part of our audience and let us know that you're an everydayer, an everyday listener 5 days a week to the podcast as we thank you so much.